Lifeboat Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics. Ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat. Period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck.
Hey guys, what's up? somebody give me a 5 for 5 in there. Sorry about the delay. Had some technical issues. Trying to... Yeah, hold on a second. This is ridiculous. Yeah. What the heck is going on? Daggone. Starting to get mad. Sorry guys. But yeah. Hey Sid, good to see you, bud. Glad you're in there, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're doing better anyway. You know. Prayers for Sid, guys. Yeah, there's had some death going on in his family. And yeah, we got a 5 for 5. Cool. Again, guys, I'm doing the show tonight because Tommy had an appointment that he had to take care of, and he kind of got his times messed up a little bit there. But you know, so you got Mr. Bobblehead here with you tonight. I hope you guys can bear with me here. But yeah, so I hope everybody's doing fine. We're going to talk about some things here. I'm going to flash some graphics up here for you guys too. You know, guys, this is one of those subjects talking about physical, you know, signs of addiction. It's important for us to recognize this. And the reason why is because we can help loved ones. We can help ourselves. We can help all that, right? But we got to be able to recognize, we got to know what those signs are to recognize it, right? So we're going to go over some of those, and we're going to go over some of the behavioral things too, because you got a lot of different components when we're talking about addiction, right? There's a lot of components when we talk about addiction, and that's not even an exaggeration whatsoever. So yeah. So some of the yeah, sorry guys, I'm a little scatterbrained right now at the current time. Just trying to get everything going here. It's kind of yeah, I knew I was going to do the live stream by myself tonight a couple hours ago. So I had enough time. It's just I just didn't get it all done. So that's just what it is. So I will trying to get the graphic up here real quick, and then we'll talk about that in just a second. If you guys just give me 1 second here. Alright, let's just do it this way. Alright. Okay. So, alright, there we go. So let me go ahead and transfer over to this. And again, guys, I'm sorry it's a little scattered here at the beginning. I don't mean for it to be, but that's just what it is. So make sure I got this thing good for you guys. Okay. Physical signs of addiction. I mean, these are like really, really basic ones. Okay. And what, you know, again, we could talk about this all day and all night. There is a lot of things that we could tie into all these signs, but these are just like 5 of the biggest ones, right? So the physical signs of addiction, you start noticing people, like people that you love or somebody that you are close with, all of that. If you guys are close with people and you start seeing these things, right? That's usually the first sign that if you're seeing it, don't just assume that it's okay, right? Don't assume that they're all right. If you start seeing these things, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's kind of what I'm saying. So yeah. So if you start seeing people around you that you care about, you got bloodshot or droopy eyes. Now, and I want to preface this by saying this too. Listen, I understand that a lot of these symptoms that you're going to see here, these signs, are symptoms of other things too. It's just when you start piling on one thing after the other of all these symptoms together, what happens? Well, then you got to start assuming certain things, and you need to start asking questions, especially if these people are like your kids or just people that you love, period, or just simply people that you just want to help. If you start, don't be afraid to ask, hey, why are your eyes bloodshot? Why are your eyes droopy? Now, if they got a good explanation for it, fine, you move on. But then you start seeing all these things happen at the same time, right? So that's kind of what I'm saying. Now, I know that is not a a real like scientific way to go about it. You know, I'm not remiss on that. But let's just face the facts here. We're never ever going to see everything. And we've been talking about guilt a lot, so don't let this guilt you either. If you're not seeing it, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do. If you're not seeing it, then what can you do? Right? I mean, how do you address that? Well, you don't until you do, right? Until you know. And that's why you ask the questions. So, yeah. So you got bloodshot, droopy eyes. And that's actually a really good one. That's a really good one to start with because that is something that's pretty evident to people. Now, obviously, you could be tired. You could have gotten something in your eyes. You could have had a bad day and you were crying. All these other side effects, right? All these things that happen. But if you add the droopy eyes to, I don't know, maybe, let's go with another one here. Let me find the graphic real quick. And I know that I'm graphic crazy here on this because it helps me stay focused. Sorry, guys. And then you start seeing stuff like this. Pale skin, bruises, or track marks. Right? Now, obviously, you see track marks, that's an immediate giveaway. Okay, we understand that. That's a pretty serious sign that something is jacked up, right? But there are other explanations for having track marks. Well, what appear to be track marks. Some people have skin conditions. Some people have, believe it or not, I was actually watching a TLC program probably, 4 or 5 years ago. And there's people out there that like to pick at their skin. And they're like obsessive about it. So if they have like an ingrown hair or something in certain, like in the bend of your arm, that's a lot of where they're looking for track marks, or your wrist, top of your hand. There's a lot of things that go with that. But I seen that, and these people really have a disorder, so they're like picking, right? So they see a scab or something, and the one lady even said, that's not even acceptable. I have to get that off there. So, I mean, these people have issues with that. So there are other things that could look like track marks, but they're really not. So just understand that you have to have more than just one of these symptoms, okay, or these signs. I don't want to call them symptoms. But yeah, so you get that. You got to start paying attention more to that. Then you got lack of coordination and slurred speech. That is a pretty obvious one, right? So, yeah, Miss B, exactly. I mean, we've seen all these people do this stuff, right? Let me say this. I don't like to have spots on me either, right? So if I need to quit saying that word right. I am saying it all the time. I apologize. It's one of those, anybody that does any public speaking, most people that do public speaking have a word like that they use continuously. Mine is right, the word right. I'm trying to think of what I would say Tommy's would be. It's kind of the phrase truthfully, right? He says that a lot. See, I just said right again. See how funny that is? It's just something we say because we're trying to think about our next thought. That's really what it is. We're buying our mind some time to, put our thought together. Right? Anyway, so you got lack of coordination and slurred speech. That is so obvious when that's happening. Right? You go to any kind of public setting. You go to a sports bar. You're there eating dinner or whatever. People are there for other reasons other than just to be there to eat, right? They're having themselves the quote unquote good time. So that's what, so if you start seeing this, it's pretty obvious at that point that you need to be asking somebody some questions. Here's one that sometimes people overlook: weight loss or weight gain. That's a pretty significant one. And that's not something that you're going to see immediately. So usually the people that are closest to you are going to see this first before anybody else does. Okay? So with that being said, yeah. So if you start seeing massive weight loss, massive weight gain, okay, it goes both ways. In other words, if their weight is not staying where it needs to be or where it normally is, none of us are where we need to be, right? But if you start noticing that stuff, please start thinking in your mind, where am I at with this? Is my loved one, I'm just going to use kids as the default word here, guys. My kids, if I see that happening, I need to be asking them. And then I see all these other signs at the same time. Don't be afraid to ask. What's the worst thing that's going to happen if you ask? At the very worst, somebody might get mad at you for a minute and not talk to you for a couple days, probably. I mean, that's what it'll end up being, right? So it's not something drastic. Don't be afraid, especially it's your responsibility as somebody that loves this person to really be their eyes and ears when they can't be their own eyes and ears because they're so blinded by their addiction. Okay? Now, I know it's a big responsibility for us, but that's just what it is when we love people, guys. I really don't know what else to say as far as that point. But, yeah. So, that is just like 5 basic little things there. Now, I've got some other stuff here, too. Let me find my graphic here. And again, guys, I only do this graphic thing because it helps me stay focused. Tommy doesn't do it as much because he is better at it than me. Just being real with you there. So those are physical signs that, hey, we might have some issues here. Do we need to address this? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? What do we need to do? And I think, guys, that at the end of the day, it's going to be different for everybody, what level they're at, where they're at physically in their addiction. It really does make a huge difference when somebody's actually seeing it. So if you're seeing these kinds of things, don't be afraid to address it. You have to. And the earlier you address it, the earlier an addict knows that people are seeing that you're addicted, right? They're going to start understanding, hey, people are knowing now that I am addicted. I'm having issues with whatever, alcohol. And let me preface this too. Alcohol actually has some other physical symptoms. If you guys give me a second here, I might be able to pull that graphic up for you. So just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I thought I had that going, but I'll keep talking as I'm doing this. But just understand that alcohol does have some different physical manifestation of addiction, of alcoholism. So some of that stuff, some of the alcoholism stuff is really, really, I don't know how to put this. It's pretty drastic, to be honest with you. Some of the signs that start happening with alcoholism can, it can range from a whole lot of different things. You get, some people get like these, how can I put this? Like blotchy red skin. Okay. That is most definitely one of those things. It's not just specific to alcoholism, but it is one of those things that typically a drug addiction isn't going to manifest in that way, right? It could. I'm not saying that it can't, but what I'm saying is that alcoholism definitely does. It's a physical reaction in our face. You know, we've all seen alcoholics. They get really red faced, right? There's a reason why they say, hey, he's red faced. That's the reason. Okay. So, you know, what do you do at that point? How do you progress? Well, you start looking at that stuff, and I don't want to, you know, leave out the possibility for codependency here either. Okay. Because that is most definitely one of the things that is an issue. Okay. Codependency is a big issue, and it doesn't get talked about enough, because the likelihood of you being codependent on another drug when you're trying to quit one other one is fairly high. It's a pretty good number there. Okay. So yeah, it definitely, you need to pay attention to that. So when you're looking at your loved one and you're seeing all these physical signs start happening, you know, again, don't be afraid to ask the question. Say, hey, why does your face look like that? And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is what it is, right? So yeah. Give me a second here, guys. I got something going on technically here. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Oop, okay, I see what I'm doing here. Sorry about that, guys. I wasn't trying to... And again, I know I'm squirreling a little bit tonight. You know, I have my days, guys. I have to say that after, you know, before I was an addict, in recovery, or even during my addiction, I most definitely fought some things. It caused me to, oh gosh, I don't even know how to say this. Well, it's kind of like PTSD. I get, you know, I can't be around large groups a whole lot. That's something I struggle with personally. And I know that there's a lot of others out there that do too. And, so you know, I don't feel bad about it, but I definitely want to recognize that it is an issue. You know, we can't, if we don't know it's an issue, then how can we address it? So we got to be able to admit it when it's happening. And that's key to any kind of recovery. So, you know, I don't want to make that, you know, leave that point out of it, because it definitely is one of those. It's a good point. So, but yeah, so let's get back to the alcoholism, signs of it. And so what we're looking at here, guys, we are definitely seeing, let me get this up here again. Yeah, you can have all these, guys. Fever, dry cough, shortness of breath, diarrhea. And again, listen, I understand. This sounds like the flu, right? I get it. But when you take this in conjunction with everything else that's going on around the situation, yeah, especially, you know, with what's going on in the world with C+ math, look at this one. Loss of taste and smell. That's a sign of alcoholism, guys. You got PTSD, do you, Danny? Yeah, it sucks. I hate to hear that for anybody. That's a sucky thing to deal with. It really is. And you know, I used to look, because after I got into recovery, and I've been in recovery, like I said, for over 10 years, going on 11, and I had a little bit of OCD prior to and during, and believe it or not, the OCD part of my personality actually helps me. Because what's it do? It keeps me more focused. You know, I'm focused more on one thing. I don't have to worry about my mind going off on different things as much as others would that don't have a little bit of OCD. Now, I would say this, my mom was a clean freak, guys. You don't even, if anybody has ever had loved ones like that, I'm sorry I keep messing with my hat. My hair sticks out right here, and it bugs me, man. I hate when it really does. It upsets me. But anyway, my mom was a clean freak, right? And there's nothing wrong being clean, but you can't take it too far, right? So I have a little bit of that myself. It's not as bad, okay? But I do catch myself not feeling comfortable when things aren't like in their place. It's not, it's not like I'm going to go running out of the room or anything like that. It does bother me. If things have a place, if they don't have a place, then they shouldn't be in my house, right? This is kind of how I do it. Hey, Rippy, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, bud. Hey, Kevin. Oh, your OCD mainly comes out at work. Yeah, and Kevin, let me address that real quick. This is something common in recovering addicts. It really is. You can go one way or the other. If you're in recovery, the OCD actually is as long as it's not excessive, it almost actually helps you, like I explained earlier. But if you're not in recovery and you really take it to an extreme level, obviously it needs to be addressed. I mean, we get that, right? So just understand that just because the symptom or the sign is mainly on the negative end of things doesn't mean that it can't be a positive for somebody in recovery. It can actually help you get to the next step if you guys just really look at it from the right perspective. We say that a lot, right? You do lawn maintenance? Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. I don't do that part of it. I do some driving for my for a landscape business. One of my good friends owns one. So I do some of that myself, just driving. I can't do anything else. For those that don't know, I'm fused 6 vertebrae in my neck and back. Fused from C3 to T1 in my neck down into my thoracic spine, and I'm fused 2 in my lower back. I got plates, screws. I've had, I had bariatric surgery. And I like to say this because I know that this, it's kind of funny. That's why I say it, just to kind of break the ice on this subject. I lost a fat man, and I'm still a fat man. So I say that quite a bit. It's just kind of one of those icebreaker type of things with that conversation. But it's true. And why I'm talking about that, anybody else out there that has ever had bariatric surgery or knows anybody that does, do you guys know that the chances of a person that has had bariatric surgery, their chances more than double of becoming an alcoholic after that? A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know it till I started going through the process of getting my surgery. And it's a really interesting thing to talk about and there's reasons for it. Because I don't have the stomach like a normal person does. I actually have 2. Most people don't put that together either. They don't take your stomach out. They reroute. They call it a Roux-en-Y procedure. And they're bypassing a lot of your stomach, but you still have a stomach pouch, and you can stretch it back out. You really can, right back out to where it was before. But the problem with that, with all that, you do have to take B12 the rest of your life and some other things. Just again, that's a personal decision for people. And I was over 500 pounds, so I was at that point where it was starting to affect my health really, really bad. But with that being said, anybody that's had those kinds of surgeries or knows anybody that has, please be aware. Watch them closely, especially with alcohol. And the reason being is because you're bypassing some of your body's natural ability to filter. Okay? It hits your system almost immediately. And when I'm getting ready to say this statement here, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, if I take one shot of liquor whatever it is. It could be whatever the liquor is, right? I'm not talking like a shot of beer or anything like that. But if I take one shot, I'm physically drunk at that point. And it hits me that fast. And I'm not kidding. You know, there's a thing that was going around in the colleges, and it started bleeding off onto some of the high schools and stuff. And forgive me if this offends anybody, okay? But I need to tell you guys what it is. They're called anal shots. Okay, they take liquor or whatever they're doing, whatever kind of whatever, and they legitimately just dump it where I just said. Okay, why do they do that? You guys know? The reason they do that is it bypasses any of the filtering process and it hits your system immediately. It's a very dangerous thing. Okay? So if you ever hear of anybody you know wanting to try that kind of thing, man, really try to stop that. Because it kills people. You bypass your liver, you bypass any kind of filtering process that's going on in your body. You're bypassing all of it. That's where most of your stuff is absorbed into your bloodstream, is in your small intestine. Okay? So if you go the reverse route in your digestive tract, if you put it, if you just take a regular drink, it has to go through everything else before it gets down there, before it's absorbed. Your body's already getting rid of the bad stuff before it starts absorbing the good. So when that process takes place in the small intestine, it most definitely will. If you ever hear anybody doing that, just get them away from that crap. Literally crap, I guess. I'm not, I guess I am kind of trying to be funny here, but I want to know who was the first person that said, hey, go grab that funnel over there and dump some vodka where the sun don't shine. I just want to see how that feels. I don't get it, man. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about milk. Who was the first person that said, hey, look at those things hanging off that cow. Let's go drink what comes out of it. Anyway, I don't want to get off on a thing like that, but see a little piece of hair? I need a haircut. Guys. Need a haircut. But yeah, so let me check this out here. Okay, so back to the subject. I know I squirreled there a little bit, but yeah. So we got all these things that can happen with alcoholism, and they are different than what you see with drug addiction. Okay, some of them are. Some of them are very, very, evident, right? So if you start, here's that rash I was talking about. I don't really want to, discoloration or rash on the skin. Okay, you'll see it a lot in the cheeks, and especially the nose. Okay, I know people probably know this. Most people know this already. But I do want to point that out. Because that is a really great sign that you can see. So just kind of understand that part of it all. Let me see here real quick. Go. And again, guys, I'm sorry there at the beginning of this. This was kind of all over the place. I was trying to get it together as fast as I could, and I just didn't succeed. That's kind of what I'm saying. So let's trying to find that other graphic I had. Okay, maybe is that it? Okay, so okay, so those are some of the physical things, guys. So let's kind of go back through a couple of them real quick. I do want to touch on them a little bit more as far as talking about it a little bit more in depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up this one. Okay, because there's 5 of them right there. And make no mistake, there's a bunch more, right? I could show you a list of things that are just, there's a lot of stuff here. And I'm just talking physical signs. So if your kids are showing these things and it's like multiple, right? Multiple ones. Address it. Please address it. You're not doing yourself any good, and you're not doing your kids any good, or your loved ones, whatever we're talking about here. I don't want to, I said I was going to use kids, but I don't really want to focus that direction with that. But it most definitely, hold on a minute here. Is that better? Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So don't be afraid, is what I'm saying, because the outcome is way worse than any kind of embarrassment or any kind of hatefulness you might get in return. What if you don't say anything? Okay? Think about that for a second. So, yeah. Yeah, somebody get that out of there. Hey, wrench crew, grab that out of there for me. Yeah, because guys, guess what? That's an addiction too. Pornography is an addiction for a lot of people, especially now because it's all free and you can just pick up your phone, your whatever, your computer. Those are all, that's a true addiction, guys. Just like gambling, I know when we talk about addiction, we're talking about typically, drugs and alcohol, but those are other addictions too. And believe it or not, there's something here also I want to point out on the physical signs. If you notice somebody that was always well kept as far as being all, not like me, I'm all kind of rough and everything, but no, just kidding. I am though. If you notice them stepping out of their normal hygiene routine to an excessive level, this is a very, very good sign that they are at the most going through something in their mind that is affecting them in a very, very bad way. So just understand, okay? Because that hygiene is one of the main things that you're going to be able to notice, because it hits all of your senses, right? Except for taste. You look at somebody you love that usually showers every day, gets up, shaves, gets ready, but won't go outside unless they're really ready to be seen. If you start seeing people like the quote unquote Walmart pajama party people, is what I call them, okay? If your people or if your loved ones start going to Walmart with their pajamas on, and please don't be offended, I really mean this. No bra. Don't even mess with their hair. Don't really care what they look like. Please understand that is a very, very significant sign that there's a possibility of addiction going on. Now, there's mental stuff there, too, that can be happening. Yeah, I know. I really wasn't trying to be all that funny about it, but it is true. And there's a reason, guys, they do whole YouTube channels and TikToks on, the people from Walmart. There's a reason for that. That's probably the biggest reason. I went to Walmart, oh God, this has been almost 2 years ago. I think I even showed it on my YouTube channel. It was like noon when I got there, but the moon was out, if you know what I'm talking about. And I actually like, man, did he just bend over and didn't know, right? So I kind of like waited a minute. I got this is how long his butt was hanging out. I legitimately pulled my phone out, snapped some pictures of it, went to go get back in my car, and decided, well, I'll just take a short video, and he was still there, right? And I'm telling you, we ain't just talking about a crescent moon. We're talking about a full moon during like a super moon stuff. I mean, this was like, oh my God, dude. I mean, seriously? So yeah, anyway, that's kind of off the subject here, but that's the truth, guys. That's what happened. Yeah, full moon at Walmart for sure, Pamela. That's sorry, I'm having a little bit too much fun here, guys. Oh man, I'll give you a wrench, Chris, for sure. I didn't know you didn't have one, man. It's not a big deal, not at all. I mean, yeah, full show. But so yeah, guys, if you have hygiene issues, right? That is a big sign for any kind of addiction. Any kind. And it's one of the main signs in my opinion. Right? Again, because everybody can notice it. They'll start smelling bad, they'll quit brushing their teeth. All these things, right? Oh, I've also been asked, guys, I don't have my teeth in right now. And let me explain why that I have a set of dentures, and I'm only explaining this so you guys know, right? I know you guys probably wonder what happened to his teeth. Was it because of his drug addiction? No, it was not. Okay, that's the first thing I say. Not that I wouldn't be afraid to say it if it was. I think you guys know that. But after I never had a cavity until I was 35 years old, and it happened after my bariatric surgery. Now, I had a lot of complications with that I'm not going to go into because it would just eat up the rest of the show. But my bariatric surgery caused me to become malnourished, because they actually call that procedure a malnourishment procedure, because that's what you're doing. You're malnourishing your body in order to lose weight. So that's kind of what I'm saying. So that's what happened to me. And I'm telling you, and the reason I know it was the malnourishment is because it happened from the inside out, and my teeth just started breaking off. And so I ended up, I had them all yanked at once. It was like 22 of them. And I have to say, because of my addiction, that, I'm in recovery and all that, me personally, I woke up. I'm not kidding. I woke up he still had 4 teeth to go. And I wasn't in an operating room. I was at the oral surgeon. I wasn't at a hospital. So he didn't have access to all of the stuff to be able to put you out legitimately. But they did put me out. Don't get me wrong. But I woke up and he couldn't get me back to sleep. So he really went out and talked to my wife in the waiting room, brought her back and says, hey, I was awake, but I wasn't really aware of what was going on. I mean, I could feel pain and stuff. I felt everything, knew everything was going on, but I wasn't able to make that decision on my own. My wife had to make the decision whether or not for him to keep going or not. And I'm glad she said, keep going. Just get it done. And because she knew I didn't want to come back and have to go through that again. So just understand, guys, anybody that's ever has been addicted to anything, whether or not you're on medicated assisted treatment after the fact, it doesn't matter. It matters a little bit, but you're still going to have a tolerance. So be aware of that when you guys have issues. And don't be afraid to address that with the doctor before you go in for any kind of procedure. I am not a doctor. I'm only speaking from my own experience. Okay? So just understand that. So I had a lot of people asking me, not really asking, just saying, hey, how'd you lose your teeth? Well, that's how. And I do have a full set of dentures, but at this time of night and stuff, I don't usually put them in because I have to use glue and, I really want to get implants, but those are way expensive. We're talking, I think it's like, what was it, like $1,000 a tooth or something? If you think about how many teeth you have, think about that. Lots of stuff. Yeah, high winds to here too, Pamela. I'm sorry, guys. I squirreled again. Anyway, guys, the hygiene issue is a big thing, and I know I made a kind of a joke about it, but there's reasons I do that too. The reason I do that is because you guys aren't going to forget what I just said, because you'll ask about it. Okay? Not that I wouldn't make a joke about anything, but it's useful. It's a useful thing for people that are speaking in front of people to make a joke, because you won't forget. You know, you don't forget when really bad things happen because it affects you. And when really good things happen, you don't forget those either. So I try to kind of, you know, play that kind of role. So I tell you what we're going to do here real quick. I think I'm going to flop up a behavioral thing here. Let me see what we got with this. I may end up putting this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it better. It may cover up some of my face, and I know that that's probably good for most of you guys. I'm just kidding, but no, I'm not really. So let's go ahead and we'll put this over here. Again, here, there's my face. That might be just a little too big, huh? Let's adjust that a little bit. How is that? Okay, we can deal with that, I think. Okay, so these are some of the behavioral things that can happen. Okay? If you start seeing these things in anybody that you love, please address it. Hiding substances. You know, roommates or spouses of addicts may find bottles of alcohol, prescription drugs, street drugs, hidden. If you start seeing that, I think that's one of the most obvious things that there's an issue. Okay? Neglecting responsibility. Now, these are behavioral symptoms or signs that somebody's addicted. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. It takes more than just one of these signs to really say, hey, this person's having issues. So don't be afraid to ask. Again, that's what I would say. Now, neglecting responsibility. You know, getting high or drunk becomes an obsession for an addict. We talk about this a lot. You neglect basic responsibilities at home, school, and work. It's 100% true. You know, it says here, I just kind of pulled this generic graphic just so you guys could have something to see and keep me focused. While under the influence, your loved one may not remember to complete basic responsibilities or simply may not care whether they are done. Okay, what's Tommy talk about? Making his bed, right? Think about that, guys. There's a lot of truth to that. Okay? And I'm not just saying that because that's what Tommy says. I'm saying it because it is what it is. Right? Hey, Karen, good to see you. Hey, yeah, okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, legal issues. Breaking the law. And let me preface this before I go on with any of this, that they're doing this without any care or any thought to anything else. Okay, they don't care. We didn't care. I didn't care when I was in that situation. At all. Not even a little bit. Now, I do think that all of us have a certain moral line that no matter what is going on in our lives, we won't cross. Right? And that line is going to be, going to be different for everybody. Okay? But make no mistake that an addict or an alcoholic will go straight to that borderline, right on the border, if they need to. And oftentimes this leads to really bad things. So just, if you start seeing all that, address it. Financial difficulties. Obviously. I mean, I think that one almost could have been without being said. That is, financial difficulties, I almost, in my opinion, that right there is one of those, like, how can I say this? I think all of us have financial difficulties at some level, right? And again, it's not a shot at anybody, okay? But it is most definitely something that is, I'm moving back and forth, ain't I? Here, what happens if I move this over? don't want to go too far. Okay, sorry. It's my OCD, guys. Honestly, it really is. Yeah, so there's always financial difficulty. Yeah, Karen, yeah. Goes without saying. 100%. What'd you say there, Chris? Let's see here. But not all addicts are criminals, and not all criminals. Exactly. That goes back to what I say with as far as everybody is their own individual, right? And we have to be addressed in that way. We have to be able to understand that that's going to be different for me, for Chris, for anybody else. It most certainly is an individual thing here. So, yeah. And then the next thing there, guys, hygiene, right? Lacking control. I think you could take that lacking control and apply it to everything else here. Because you're not doing any of these things unless you are lacking control. I mean, does that make any sense? I didn't really think that this one really needed to be pulled out and pointed out like that. Let's just see what it said, though. It says the individual might try to control drug or alcohol. Okay. Well, then I see what they're saying here. They're saying that, if you start losing the control of being able to handle the alcohol or the drug, that's what they're saying. Okay, that's the loss of control that they're talking about. Okay, so give me a second here too. I think I have one more graphic I want to show you guys. Okay. Let's yeah. So let's do this one. And if you guys can't read that, I do apologize. I can't really do anything about the font size here. I could have blown it up, but I simply just didn't have time. Honestly, it's really what it was. I'm not sure if you guys can see that red line, but you probably can. Let's take it off studio mode. Oh, crud. Okay, hold on. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Huh. I was on the wrong one. Let's do that one. How about that? Alright, give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to try and make this a little bit bigger for you. Yeah, story of my life. Anyway, so yeah. Okay. There we go. That's a little bit better. So, again, absence or tardiness at work, these are all behavioral stuff that could happen. Problems at work or school, isolation, that's a big thing for addicts, okay, especially people that are thinking about trying to get help, right? What happens is you don't want to be around that stuff, and some isolation is probably necessary at the beginning. Okay, I don't think that anybody would really argue that. But to put that like a blanket statement would probably be wrong to do that. Sorry, guys. My mouth gets really dry too after I have my teeth yanked. Anybody that has never had a set of dentures, let me tell you something. You put those dentures in, it covers up the roof of your mouth, and on your bottom ones, it actually hinders your ability to salivate. So it takes a lot of getting used to. Food doesn't taste right for a long time. It's hard to get used to doing any of that, but that's just a side note. Anyway. Poor sleep habits. That's a big deal right there. That is one of those things that I think that everybody deals with at some level, but this becomes exaggerated with somebody that is in addiction or alcoholism. Withdrawing from activities. I would say this, that if somebody is an avid, say, golfer, and then you notice that they just abruptly just said, screw it, I'm not doing it anymore for a while, and just stopped doing things that, like the activity, like the golfing, or maybe they bowled or whatever. But that actually ties in with isolation also. Okay? It all kind of plays together. Risky behavior. Addicts often, they take risks. They have to. They most certainly have to. There's no question about that. Not even one question about that. Everything that an addict is doing most of the time is risky. You're risking your life. You're risking losing your family. You're risking losing everything because you're chasing down a chemical. And again, that's the addict part of it. Now, alcohol, obviously, you don't have to go chase that because you can just walk right to the store and get it. And that is what it is. Continued use. Someone who is addicted to a substance continues using despite the potential for danger. Okay? What this means, okay, I'm not sure if anybody has ever, most of you guys probably have at least been to like a pain management doctor. That's probably a pretty good assumption, or you know somebody that was, or maybe you're in medicated assisted treatment afterwards. They always check your liver function, because that is one of the main organs that really gets destroyed by opiates. Okay, so they have to keep an eye on that. And again, I'm not a doctor. I know this because I live it, right? So they check your liver function. And I say that because people that are addicted are going to continue to use, even if it means they've got bad liver function. That is the mindset and the behavior of an addict or an alcoholic. Right? So I really do think that that's just, man, that is a big deal. So if you see somebody continuing to use whatever they're doing there, and they're just throwing caution to the wind, and they don't care. They don't care what the outcome is. And I can tell you that from this experience. I didn't care. Now, there were times I got scared, right? Because you would know that, hey, I'm taking too much of this stuff. You start getting scared at first. Then that fear goes away, and that fear actually goes to the opposite end of the spectrum. Now you're fearful if you don't have it. Wrap your brain around that for a minute. At first, you're fearful that you do have it, and you're taking too much of it. And then, somewhere along the line, you cross that line, and your brain flips. And you're like, now I'm scared to not have it. Because if I don't, I know how bad I'm going to feel. So your fear actually goes to the other end. And I really do think that that's a very legitimate thing for people to focus on. Because if you see people start to act like that, you'll notice it. And let me say this. The people that are going to notice this first off is going to be your family. Most of the time, I would say probably 75 to 90% of the time, your family knows you're addicted before you do. And I would share the continued use thing here with you for a second. A story for me, a little bit of an insight, what happened with me. My doctor told me when I first started having back issues, he said, Mark, if you take these Lortab for longer than however many, like 2 weeks or whatever, the prescription was for at the beginning, he said, you will become dependent on this for the rest of your life. He told me that. And I made a conscious decision. Now, I didn't know, I had no idea about the addict's life at that time. I didn't know what it was about. And that this is where, you know, stuff gets lost in the fold. Because what's a doctor supposed to do? He's wanting to help you. So my doctor did nothing wrong there. My doctor did the exact right thing and told me that if I start giving you these things, this is what's going to happen. You will be physically dependent on this. Whether or not mentally you get there, he said that's another story. And he said, I will tell you this, that if you get there physically and then you start abusing it once or twice, then mentally you're now completely addicted too. And he was 100% right. And I ended up losing that doctor because of that very reason. This man saved my life more than once. I had cellulitis multiple times. He knew my whole medical history. But because he wouldn't write me a script for pain medication, yeah, I fired him. I said, hey, I won't be back. If you can't come in here and talk to me about this, I won't be back. That's the mindset of an addict. And I regretted it to the point where I actually wrote him an apology letter when I finally got help. That was not him. That was me. Okay? Now, there's a sense of responsibility that a doctor does have, but in my particular situation, my doctor did exactly what he was supposed to. He wasn't not over prescribing me medication. He was giving me what needed to be done as far as a normal pain relief, right? He wasn't a pain clinic or anything. Back when that all first started for me, it was way before all that stuff even was in the mainstream. Okay? But even then, he knew that I would become dependent, and he wanted me to know that, and he told me that. And I was okay with that, as long as I knew that I could, you know, just take what was prescribed, and that's where my mind was at the time. But it didn't work out like that. So I always, 100% of the time, caution people. But I also understand that there are people out there with real things going on, with pain that need addressed and all that. And this is why I always say, I'm not a doctor. Okay? I'm not. But everybody is individual. Everybody. Lots of my friends. Oh, man. Lots of my friends have died. Been in the music industry, have you? I'm sorry. Is that Courtney James? Yeah, that's not a good thing. You know, I hate to hear that. I really do. Yeah, pain is real, and that's for sure. Good, Courtney. That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there anywhere we could find your music? Just out of curiosity. That'd be cool. Be able to do that. That'd be pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you do music. You said you've been in the industry. It doesn't necessarily mean it's you're a magician, I guess. But yeah, no, that's horrible. Yeah, and in the music industry, guys, any kind of entertainment industry, drugs are rampant. I think we understand that. Oh, no kidding. Wow, Courtney, that's awesome. That is awesome. That's cool. Alice in Chains, man. That's your brother-in-law. Wow. Oh, you an audio engineer? That's cool, man. I mean, or I'm sorry. Are you I don't want to misgender you. Are you guy, girl? I'm sorry. I wasn't watching the chat there for a few. But I'm glad you're here. You know, anything you can add is great. We always say that, you know, any help is for anybody in here. Yeah, it's, let's do that. It brought me back around. I think it did. Okay. All right, guys. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys tonight. We can talk here a little bit. I know I started late, so we'll go about another 3 or 4 minutes here, because of the issue I had earlier. But yeah, guys. So please, You're a former Marine? Awesome. I'm sorry I missed it if you said it already. Guy, girl, I'm sorry. Oh, 100% do. Okay, I see it now. There's a little lag with the chat and the actual stream here. So I do apologize for that, but that's what it is, you know? All right. Well, let's do this. Let's get me back here to full screen for you guys. Well, actually, you know what? I'll just pop up this one graphic here, and we'll leave it at that. Is it that one? Let's do this. Yeah, let's just do that. How about that? And I can scoot this a little over. All right, we'll just do that. How's that? That work out all right for everybody, I hope. Let's just bring that up off of my... and I know that that's not like a very large graphic, but if you guys blow that up on your phone or whatever, that'll come in really, really clear and you'll be able to read it. You know, we do fight that. We really try to be mindful, guys, of people that are watching on the phone. Oh, really, Courtly? That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad you're here. I really am. And I have to say, guys, I'm so glad that, you know, if my Space Weather channel has done nothing, then let me find you guys. I mean, and you guys find me, and we're able to build relationships and be who we are right now, all right? It was all worth it. Okay? It was. If they were to tell me right now that my channel had to go down or whatever, I wouldn't be okay with it, but I would be able to accept it because of what we've got going on here. Because this is, in my opinion, you know, again, this is just my opinion, way more important than space weather. That's pretty safe to say. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. And let me say something else too. If anybody's here from Marfugal, most of you guys know who Marfugal is. I called in there last night. Rip was here earlier. Yeah. Yeah, Courtly, if, you know what, if you wanted to email either me or Tommy, you know my email. My email has always been there on my channel, but both of ours are in the description here. And if you really if you wanted to, we always encourage people coming on and doing interviews, and sharing their story if they want to. It's not I don't want to pressure anybody. This goes for everybody. And I'm only saying this because we do have new people here. So everybody that's always here all the time knows this. But anyway, I would say that. But anyway, I called into Marfugal last night, guys. And I gained, because of that, you know, Adam and Dex were shouting me out and stuff. Obviously, I was on the phone with them for probably 30 minutes on a call, live with them. And I ended up on the Wages World channel, gained like 500 subscribers in like 45 minutes. So what that is that's them trusting Adam, not trusting me, right? So Adam Marfugal is his name, and Dex. So I have to say that I really appreciate those guys, and it really does. And a lot of you guys are here from Marfugal too. You guys know this. Most of you do. Yeah, you're right, Karen. 100%. It's never wasted if you learn something from any given situation. 100%. Yeah, the Facebook group too. Yeah, Jesse, thank you for reminding me of that. There's a Facebook group. It's actually on the scroll right there too. Just go over there, send a request. Tommy will let you in. You know, all that. We have to guard against a little bit of that. So we have to have a wall there, or a door that you're going to have to walk through Tommy to get to the Facebook group, because of people just want to be nasty. That's all. So that's why. But it's a good place, guys. If you guys are having problems, yeah. Exactly, Joanna. I try to shout them out every chance I get. They're way bigger than me, so sometimes I forget. You know, I just kind of assume everybody's already there. Yeah, prayers for Tommy, guys. You know, He is, I think he's feeling a little bit better today. He's not here because of that issue. But yeah. 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 So, yeah, but anyway, guys, I do want to mention this too. We are having an interview with a addiction recovery doctor on Friday, and that will be at noon West Coast, 3 p.m. East Coast. Okay? We're going to, right now it's going to be a live interview, so the hope is, as long as Dr. Jetmore is okay with it, he'll share what we're, we'll ask him some questions and stuff, and then maybe, last 10 minutes or so, maybe you guys could ask some questions. So, yeah. That's kind of the thing, and this is coming from a guy that's very highly educated. He was an ENT doctor and still is, obviously, but he's moved into other positions. He's been, my county's health official, and we all know that that's a hard position right now, given the state of the world with C+ math. I couldn't imagine the stress that he had to go through with that. But that's not why he's coming here. He's coming here to talk about addiction. So that's what we're going to be doing. So please, if anybody has any questions or anything, hit me up on my email. Hit Tommy up on his email. He'll be back tomorrow with me. And again, guys, I'm sorry about the kind of scattered part of this. And I know that when I come on and I do this for you guys, a lot of times I have the graphics. And the only reason why I do that, I do think it gives you a visual, but the main reason is it does help me stay focused. Okay? You guys see me squirreling anyway. So, yeah. So I am getting a little bit. Yeah. Disney, huge flare, just blow off. Yes. Yes, I'm going to be doing a live show myself, guys, over on Wages World tonight. We had oh my gosh, it was a huge eruption off the backside of the sun. It was big enough that if it was on this side, we would have issues. I've not seen one like this in years. We just don't know how big it was because it did go off the backside. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that here. But please, guys, go give everybody some love that we all support here. Please share this. The biggest thing you can do for this channel, guys, is to know that we're here every night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, unless there's something going on, right? So, even though if you don't get the notification, know that we're here. Know that we will always pay attention to you. If you start talking in the chat, somebody will address you, I promise you. And so just understand that, anybody that's new here. And I really hope that you do share this with all your social media, Facebook, YouTube, any TikTok, any place that you can share this, please do that. It does help, especially like when we're live. I want to say this too. When we first come on live, if you guys just hit the share button underneath right there on your YouTube, it'll bring up your options to share, and you can share it straight to Facebook right there. And it only takes just a few seconds. Okay? I do it every show. And this isn't something that's like, okay, it's not like Space Weather and other like alternative news stations where some people might be offended or whatever if they think we're conspiracy theorists and all that kind of stuff. That ain't what this is. Yes, Mark Pyers. Thank you, Pamela. Renaissance Man. Anybody that's positive, me and Tommy will try to get you to. Okay? We're not going to push you guys to anybody that's going to be a negative influence or is just negative in general. It's just not fun. Hope you come back, Courtney. I really do. And if you're willing to share your story, please hit us up. Or if you have any issues, please hit us up. Yeah. I would, that would be awesome. Karen, thank you for stopping in. And everybody else that's here all the time. Thank you guys. I love all you guys. Jesse, Seventh Son, Wrench Crew. Can someone post wages? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, if you guys could do that, you could put my Wages World channel in there. But, yeah, so anybody you can share this with and really kind of push the interview on Friday. because it is out of our normal time. Okay? So just understand that. I really hope that you guys can do that, because I'm telling you guys, Dr. Jetmore knows what he's talking about, and he's been around it, and he's really good at what he does. So, and again, I'm sorry this went a little long. I'm squirreling again, so I am going to go ahead and pop off here. But I do love all you guys, and I really hope, and I really do, I hope and pray that you guys get something from this. And I'm sorry again if this was all over the place a little bit. But hopefully we learned something here, and we will be talking about more of these symptoms. We'll be going over like the behavioral thing a little bit more, and the physiological thing, and the physical signs. Okay? And there's a whole lot of things here, mental signs, all these things we can talk about, and we're going to. Matter of fact, I'm putting together one specifically for alcohol. So yeah. Hey, the Major, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate you. Again, guys, please share this out. I'm glad everybody's here. And anybody new, if I didn't address you, I do apologize. I do know that that the crew in there addresses you. I promise you that. You're never going to get judged here. You're never going to not have anybody talk to you. You're going to get attention if you want it. So that's what we do. So anyway, guys, God bless. Go out and save somebody. That's what Tommy says, right? That's one thing we got to do. And, well, I sponsor, okay, cool. Yeah. In AA and NA, yeah. That's a great thing. Anybody giving back is awesome. So, I hope you come back, Corey. I really do. And again, if you want to share your story of anything that you got going on, or even talk about somebody else's story, we can do that too. It's, as long as you have permission for that and all that. But anyway, God bless. Go out and save somebody. And, well, I'll tell you what. Let me show you this. I'm going to ruin everything here in a second. Y'all see that? What's that? Kool-Aid tastes great. Kool-Aid. Can't wait. Love you guys. God bless.